Good afternoon, class. Okay. Okay, our topic continues with climate, and we'll continue with the revision on water cycle. I think you have already gone through water cycle, but today's class, lesson 115, will be on revision. Okay, the definition of water cycle is given: the process which enables the continuous movement of water. Okay. Okay, let's look at the cycle of water or hydraulic cycle. In this case, the cycle has stages that it follows. Okay, so from the diagram here, okay, we have evaporation is the first stage taking place. Okay, from evaporation, it goes, the air moves up, and then it condenses. That's the second stage. Okay, when condensation takes place, what's the next step that takes place? Precipitation that takes place. Okay. Okay, precipitation is rainfall. So as rain falls, okay, it falls onto the land. Some of it is runoff. Okay, surface runoff, it goes down. The other part is basically goes into the soil infiltration and percolation. So when it goes inside the ground, it forms the next movement of water. That's the groundwater. So from the groundwater, it moves under the ground up to the sea. Okay, so that's the main stages of water cycle. Okay, from evaporation is the first stage to condensation, and from condensation to precipitation, and precipitation to the runoff on the surface or in the ground, which is the groundwater. Okay. Now I want you to look at the photographs here. Okay. Look at the photograph and make a list of the type of condensation and add any other you can think of. Okay. So you have 5 photographs there. Please look at the type of condensation that takes place there and list it down. Okay. Condensation is the second stage of the water cycle, from evaporation to condensation. So look at the diagram there and see if you can pick out. What is condensation? It's change of steam to is it water to gas? Oh, gas to liquid. Think okay. Yeah, what is happening to the air? You have the hot air given out there. Okay. How does it get condensed?
Steam be one thing? No.
There's a steam there from the kettle. As it comes out, what happens?
Evaporates.
Okay, evaporation from the kettle there, and then when it comes out, condensation takes place because the air outside is cool.
Oh, so what do you mean it's just to name like clouds, steam?
Exactly. Yes, evaporation gas. Let's take the nuclear reactor. That's evaporation. It is given off. When it comes out of the nuclear reactor, what happens outside? Okay. The idea is to have the concept of condensation. Okay, let's take a look at the first photograph there. Okay, with the first photograph here, that's a diagram of a nuclear reactor. Okay, what is happening here is, okay, heat is given off. Okay, so we have a process of evaporation taking place first. Okay, gas is given off. What happens outside here as it comes out of that nuclear reactor? You see smoke, and that's obviously telling us that the outside air is very cold than the one which is inside the reactor, and that's how the process of condensation occurs. Okay, again you look at the next photograph. Okay, what is happening here is it is given off by the land as it rises. Okay, altitude increases, temperature falls, you have condensation taking place. Okay, the next is the steam engine. Okay, the same thing occurs. It is given off, the outside air is cold, and that's how we have a condensation taking place. And then the famous one, you should be drinking tea in the morning and coming, you see it going out. Okay, from the teapot here, we see hot air rising. As it rises, the air around here is very cold. Okay, and then that's how condensation takes place. And finally, in the morning, okay, on the vehicle, what do you see? Okay, dew. Okay, okay. Next activity there. Okay, just look outside of the window. Is the cloud base high or low? Can you see any sign of rising air current? Okay. Gideon, can you take a look outside there? Is there any clouds outside? No. Okay. So in this case, there is no cloud. The next question is, can you see any signs of rising air current? Can you see it? No. But if you are at the airport in a very hot sunny day, okay, if you just stand and look at it, okay, you'll see rising air coming out of the, okay, tar or on the road, okay. That's the example of rising air current. Okay, from the condensation, now we will move on to precipitation as the next stage. And you have gone through, there are three types of precipitation or rainfall. Okay, the first one given there is frontal. Okay, frontal is also known as the cyclonic rainfall. Okay, and cyclonic rainfall basically occurs, okay, mainly in the mid latitudes, okay, from 45 degrees to 60 degrees north and south. Okay, okay, what is happening there is okay. What is happening with frontal rainfall is that the hot air basically moves from the equatorial region as it moves up, it comes up to the mid latitudes, okay, and then the warm air comes up here. We also have from the, okay, polar regions, the air is also moving down. Okay, okay, so the air moving down here is cold, the air moving up here is warm. Okay, so what happens here is that they meet at this point, okay, around, okay, 45 degrees to 60 degrees north and south of the, okay, equator. Okay, so what happens here? The hot air comes and meets, or warm air comes and meets the cold air. Which one is more denser? Okay, the cold air is more denser. Does it rise? No. Okay, the warm air is the light one. So basically, when it comes, it rises over the cold air, and that's how the frontal rainfall is formed. Okay. Okay. So what happens there? When these two meets here, okay, the earth is also spinning. So obviously it gets these two air masses into a circular motion. That's how you call frontal or cyclonic that takes place. Okay, so from the diagram here, we have warm air rising, cold air moving into replace its place. Okay, we have the next diagram of, again, the same, okay, rainfall, frontal. Okay, from the diagram here, the same principle occurs. Cold air blows onto the hot, warm, hot, moist air, pushes it up in the atmosphere, cloud is formed, and rain falls. So cool air moves in, warm air rises, and then as it rises, it basically forms condensation there, and basically rainfall is the result. Okay, let's look at the next rainfall type, which is orographic. Okay, orographic rainfall is also known as the what type of rainfall? Relief rainfall. What does the word relief mean? Okay, it talks about the topography. Okay, so this rainfall mainly occurs or only occurs when there is existence of a barrier. Okay, and this barrier is a topographic barrier, mountain. Okay, so what happens here is basically warm moist air is pushed up by the mountain barrier. Heavy rainfall on the windward side of the mountain, the leeward side is a dry rain shadow. So what happens here is that we must have a barrier for that rainfall to take place. Now, the warm air basically moves in from the sea. Okay, so what we have here is existence of water body, okay, from which evaporation is taking place. Okay, when the water becomes hot, air rises. As air rises, it moves across to the land. As it comes across to the land, it is forced to rise. Okay, it rises. Now, as it rises, what is happening? Altitude is increasing. When altitude increases, what happens to temperature? Temperature decreases. Okay, so temperature decreases means condensation will take place. Okay, so condensation takes place, and as the cloud moves across close to the top of the mountain, they become very heavy, and then rain falls on the windward side. Okay, windward side means in the direction where wind is moving. Okay, okay, so rain falls here, the air basically continues on, and that air is basically dry. Okay, what happens is that when this air moves up, it is collecting moisture. Okay, so the rain is formed. Okay, rain falls here, the dry wind moves on to the leeward side. Okay. Okay, that's another diagram showing us the relief rainfall. Again, from here it tells us that rising air cools by 1 degree Celsius per 100 meters. Okay, so we have a mountain barrier. As you move up 100 meters in altitude, basically the air cools by 1 degree Celsius. Means temperature falls by 1 degree Celsius. Okay, so we have unstable area, rain falls on the side. Okay, loss of moisture from air means condensation level is high, downward. Okay, air warms up by 1 degree Celsius per 100 meters over greater distance. So what happens is that from this side, as it rises, the temperature or air cools by 1 degree Celsius. As it comes down, the same approach occurs here. Okay, air is warmed up every 100 meters as you move downwards. Okay. Okay, so that's the other, convectional. Okay, convectional in this case, what we see is more common in equatorial region. Okay, what happens here? You see trees there, and you'll question yourself, why are there trees there? Okay, but this type of rainfall mainly occurs in the equatorial regions. That's why we have trees, indicating that that's where high rainfall is. Okay, and temperature is also high at equatorial regions. Okay, what do we see here? Again, the land warms up, it is given off. Okay, clouds are formed at the top, rain falls on the same place. Okay, it is accompanied with thunderstorms. Okay, so you won't be new to thunderstorms. You will hear thunder, boom. Okay, Okay, so when you hear that sound, you know that's the convectional rainfall. Okay, that's the other diagram of convectional rainfall. Again, land heated up, air rises, warm air around this one rises up, gets cooled air, and comes down very heavy. Okay, and Port Moresby experiences most of that. Okay. When it comes very heavy. Okay, now our activity today explain with the help of well-leveled diagram the three types of rainfall. Okay, you have the relief rainfall, you have the convectional, and then you will have the orographic or topographic, you can say. Okay, with class for the activity, please complete that and we'll check through on Monday. Our lesson today. Okay. 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 Our lesson ends today, and our keyword for today is orographic. Good afternoon, students and pilot teachers.